Now, from the Columbia Basin, your local news source, this is iFIBER 1 News, presented in high definition. The #1 source for real-time local news, local sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. With your iFIBER 1 News team, reporting news in real time as it's happening. From the iFIBER Communications HD broadcast studio in Ephrata, Washington, this is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
Welcome to the Memorial Day weekend edition of iFIBER 1 News. I'm Sarah Brewer with your news from around the Columbia Basin. We'll review some of the top stories for this week, along with a few of your favorites. And we have the weekend weather forecast for the Columbia Basin from the iFIBER 1 Weather Center. It's Memorial Day weekend. The holiday began with the end of World War I and is a time to remember the soldiers that have given their lives in service defending our country. In Ephrata, the Veterans of Foreign War Post helps the community honor fallen soldiers.
For some, Memorial Day means a 3-day weekend. Mike and Jane Montani belong to a different crowd. They and countless others use the holiday as a time to honor the memory of men and women who died while serving in the armed forces. Jane Montani is with the American Legion Auxiliary Unit 28 in Ephrata.
Yeah, I do realize that a lot of people think of it as another day off, but that's our responsibility, in my opinion, is to keep reminding them that that's not what it's about. And we do have quite a few people that do remember that Memorial Day is about honoring our veterans. And they also, now the veterans are proud to share this with civilians too, because people will come out and they will put special tokens on the graves of their loved ones, whether they were veterans or not.
Mike Montani is the National Executive Committeeman for the American Legion in Washington State. He explains while Veterans Day is about honoring all veterans, Memorial Day is specifically for paying tribute to those who have fallen.
Started out as Decoration Day right after the Civil War, and after World War I they decided to include all veterans, and they changed it to Memorial Day.
One way Unit 28 honors Memorial Day is by displaying casket flags, the flags given to family members of fallen veterans.
One of the things we do here in Ephrata is we have what we call an aisle of flags, and that's casket flags that will go up all circling around the Ephrata Cemetery. And they aren't just any old casket flag. There are casket flags that belong to veterans that lived in this area or their families lived in this area, and the families themselves are the ones that donate that casket flag to us.
On Friday morning at Soap Lake's Valley View Park, Ephrata Rotary Club members were busy putting crosses on the graves of those who've served. Jane Montani says the American Legion will do the same in Ephrata for the first time this year.
The children from St. Rose of Lima School knew that it was kind of a dream of ours to have white crosses there like at Flanders Field. And so this last year, during their Catholic Schools Week, they made white crosses. The students and their parents and so forth fashioned beautiful white crosses, and so we'll be putting those out on Friday at the site of each of the veterans' graves, and then on Saturday morning we'll put the flags out next to them.
Volunteers are always welcome to help out this weekend and always.
We wouldn't be able to accomplish even half of what we do if it weren't for the support of this community.
The flags will be taken up before dusk on Memorial Day. Along with the flags, the Legion and other groups will display along Basin Street.
Just as a reminder, a physical reminder to people of what the day is. But when we're putting those flags up and taking them down, you'd be surprised how many people will come by. What are you doing? Or after they know what we're doing, they come by because they want to help put them up or they want to help take them down. And just about every single one, when it goes up or comes down or both, a little prayer is offered up on behalf of that veteran and a little note of thanks for what they did when they were on this earth.
Members of the public are invited to take part in several Memorial Day ceremonies this year. The first takes place at 10 a.m. in Soap Lake, followed by an 11 a.m. ceremony at the Ephrata Cemetery, and finally at 12:30 at the Quincy Cemetery. For more details, visit iFIBER1.com. For iFIBER 1 News, this is Ryan Lancaster reporting.
In observance of Memorial Day, iFIBER One News is taking time to be with our families to honor our relatives killed while serving our country. We will not have a newscast on Monday and return to broadcast news from around the Columbia Basin on Tuesday. To save lives, emergency responders practiced their skills earlier this week at Grant County International Airport. Here with the story is Ryan Lancaster.
Mike is blind.
I'm blind and I lost my cane. But I just had a couple questions.
In the words of 13-year-old Casey Bowen, it's hard to act indifferent when people are pretending to die all around you.
Over him! Back off of him!
It's been kind of weird.
Bowen got to skip school last Thursday to take part in a training exercise for the Region 7 Healthcare Coalition at the Grant County Airport Terminal. He and other volunteer actors were given roles to play to make things more interesting for healthcare trainees.
They told me to be really bored, but it's kind of hard to do whenever there's like people that are dying fakely, I guess.
Irene Bowen is a nursing student at Big Bend Community College. She was playing the believable role of her son's mother in the simulation.
And I'm supposed to, try to get them to get him unboard. And I was supposed to try to steal lunch today in the lunch line.
She and other actors said the gig was a lot of fun.
But I'm enjoying watching my fellow students die and, yeah.
Mary Small is the emergency response coordinator for the Region 7 Coalition, which includes more than 30 healthcare agencies in Okanagan, Grant, Chelan, Douglas, and Kittitas counties. She explained the scenario is intended to expose healthcare personnel to the reality of a catastrophic event.
We're trying to be able to have people have the ability to meet a medical surge where they have more patients than they can deal with, response to an incident, whatever the disaster, whether it's flood or earthquake or major traffic accident.
In this training scenario, dozens of vehicles heading home from a state basketball tournament in Moses Lake are involved in a fog-induced pileup on Interstate 90. Samaritan Hospital is overrun, and nearly 100 injured people are brought to the Moses Lake Terminal, which played the part of an alternative care facility. This is the fourth time Region 7 has run such a training exercise, but the first time Grant County has hosted the event. Small said the exercises help agencies get to know each other better.
Getting to know who your partners are, where your resources are, how to call for help, because if your hospital's overwhelmed, you're not going to be the one completely staffing a site like this.
You have nursing staff here or just paramedic? What's our highest level besides him?
Most of the actors were Big Bend students, like Desiree Hall.
I was emailed what I was supposed to be, like I was supposed to have dementia, but I got a different name than what I was supposed to, so I don't really know what I have now. So.
Darcy Idler played the part of someone with the wrong medication, which health officials were supposed to catch but didn't.
A couple other people, we have people that are blind, people who are deaf, people who can't feed themselves, people who have concussions.
Nursing student Jacob Wagner said this was his first time as an actor, but he'd previously been on the other side of the scenario as an EMT. He said the training exercises are a great way to plan for the worst.
If it ever happens in real life, then everyone is better prepared.
I know, isn't she cute?
For iFIBER One News, this is Ryan Lancaster reporting.
Thanks, Ryan. We'll be back after these messages with the latest from our iFIBER One Weather Center and more news.